Definitely.
What is a brother?
A brother.
A brother is
A brother.
Forged and sharp.
who supports you,
Reliable.
full trust.
They'll protect you.
Hold me accountable.
A friend could hear your pain through your sound.
And there to pick you up without judgment.
So brotherhood to me is a journey and not a destination.
Welcome to Brother Empowerment.
Hello, everyone. It is Thursday, so you know what that means. It's Brother Empowerment Day. Excuse me for that bit of a mess up in the intro. I definitely was fumbling around trying to get stuff going. But anyways, if you are just joining us for the first time, you have been missing out because we are on, I believe we are on season 3 of this thing. So
Wow.
you've been definitely missing out. But anyways, Brother Empowerment is a show where we uplift brothers. This is not a bashing show. We're not telling brothers what they need to do, but really this is a safe space for brothers to come to get encouragement, to get basically whatever they need to feel accepted and to not feel judged, so we can really heal the ills of the community and get rid of all of those problematic heirlooms, rape culture, toxic masculinity, all that stuff. So yeah, welcome. As you can see, I am holding it down solo. My brother Jay has got some things going on. He's into some big things, so I'm holding it down for him. But we do have a special guest in the building. But before we're just going to do that. So, Kenia, we're going to do a combo introduction. So we want you to, this is your first time here, but we want you to reintroduce yourself. Tell the people who you are, who you is, who you be, but also, first off, before you even do that, I want you to tell the people how your week has been.
How my week has been. Oh, my week has been great. Just some things that I've been working on has come to fruition this week.
Okay.
And I'm like on cloud 9. So it's been a great week. So who I am, what I do, all that good stuff. So my name is Kenia Thompson. I am the owner of Word Crumbs. We focus primarily on really educating, right, on the importance of storytelling, the importance of effective communication. And so those service offerings are things like public speaking, team training, and of course, video production, right?
Okay.
And so I guess I call myself all things marketing and communications. And I love, love, love to speak and to share with groups and audiences. So.
Okay. No, that's amazing. Definitely. And again, like I said before, this is not your first time on the show. We definitely haven't had, it's been quite a while since you've been here. So
yeah,
through a really circus of events, back. But again, we are definitely lucky to have you back. So if you guys haven't been on her show, which Jay and I had the pleasure of being on her show.
Yes.
If you haven't seen her show or been on her show, you guys definitely need to check it out. So can you tell people what days and when it airs?
Yeah, so typically I've taken a little bit of a hiatus because of some of the things that have transpired this week, and I'll be sharing that soon on my social profiles. But I typically have my show also Thursday nights at 6:30. It's called Critical Conversations, and the platform is really just to have conversations that bridge gaps within communities, topics that are sometimes a bit uncomfortable to talk about, sometimes taboo, but most necessary for growth and building empathy. So that's the purpose of the show, and we have guests of all flavors, colors, backgrounds, for the simple fact that diversity is what makes us who we are. So
correct. Yeah. Okay. Oh, and excuse for y'all watching, I'm not being rude. I'm literally sharing All right.
Yeah, I was trying to find it on Facebook so I could share.
Oh, if you go to the Levels of Parable page,
Okay.
this is for everybody watching. If you're on Levels of Parable page, you can go into it and you can share and whatnot. So that's usually what I'm doing. Usually Jay and I tag team this, but again, since I'm holding it down solo, I gotta make sure I do everything. So I will acknowledge the people that we have in the audience before we get started. So we have Kim Winborn, who's in the building. So we have David Miller. What's going on, David, man?
Hello, David.
We have my Booski Rashia. Hey, Rashia, in the building. So yeah. So like I was telling you before we started, Kenia, we have a different. We're doing a different, completely different theme. This, if you could call it that, a theme this season. We are doing quotes. We're not doing any more topics or anything like that. We are just looking at quotes and really just going wherever the conversation about those quotes or thoughts about those quotes take us. So that's what we're doing. So, that's what we're going on. So
let's get into it.
We're supposed to have one other guest, but I don't know what's going on.
Who is that one other guest? Cordell.
You know what? There she goes. Well, hello.
Hello.
So,
hi, Mom.
So, no, this is Jackie. This is Jackie Williams, aka Captain Williams. She's my mom, and she is just amazing. So she has not been on for a while, and so I said, you know what? She's the other person that I wrangled in to help me, not be involved in the circus. So I roped in Kenia and I roped in my mom. So, yeah. So Rishi's his mom. Yeah. So, but yeah. So just in time, Captain Williams, aka my mom, for us to tell us about yourself and for us to tell us how your week has been.
Wow. So my week has been crazy. I've been the second in charge at my job for the entire week, which is always good, but always challenging as well. So this week is no different. I am a director for healthcare business for a ambulatory surgical center in the Navy. And we have about 400 staff members. And so I got to be the deputy, if you will, for this week. I've been in the military for just over 37 years.
Wow.
And I am a clinical nurse specialist in medical surgical nursing, but I've spent the majority of my career in ambulatory surgical centers, family practice clinics, but I've done a little bit of everything, family practice, internal medicine, pediatrics, hematology, oncology, pediatrics, that's labor and delivery. So a little bit of everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
How much pressure was that growing up, Cordell? Like you I don't mean to take the conversation over, but that's amazing.
Yeah. So I always so my mom has been in the military longer than I've been alive because I am not 37. But yeah, so it's it wasn't really pressure when I was younger because it was just a lifestyle. But as I got older and you really get to see like the level of accomplishment and the level of dedication that your parent, in this case my mom, has put into her career, it's like, wow, the things that she's accomplished both in her personal life and professionally, as well as helping other people in their career. So it's just kind of, man. So yeah, it's definitely pressure, so it's just a little bit, just a teensy bit.
Yeah, but it's positive. It's a positive pressure.
It is. And
It's like,
I didn't, it's not meant to be. I guess I never viewed it as pressure. I always viewed it as opportunity, right? To give exposure and an opportunity to see the things that you don't generally see every day, because those are the
Yeah.
things that I've enjoyed about my career is
Yeah.
all the different things, the different places, the different people that I've met, the different people that I call family now, because of my time in the military.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
yeah. So no, I mean, I guess sometimes it's pressure, but also it's just a lot of times it's motivation too.
Yeah.
You look at it, it's like, when you really put your mind to something and you really give it your all, and the possibilities are almost endless when you excel at something, because the military doesn't define my mom. She does a lot of other things too.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
but yeah, it's definitely, at her promotion ceremony, which was last month actually. At promotion ceremony, all these people, and they talked about how influential and impactful she's been. And you just realize that when you're actually doing what you're meant to be doing, and you're really just, like I said, giving your all, just you can accomplish so much, so many different areas.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And to see the diversity in, like you said, the opportunities that are available, I think especially in a Black family too. I think that's there's no price tag on that. That's an invaluable asset that you brought to the family. So
yeah, definitely. I mean, I am not just my mom. My dad had a very successful military career as well, and so both my parents, but especially my mom, were living, breathing examples of Black excellence. I didn't, as I said, at her retirement ceremony, or not retirement ceremony. I'm speaking prematurely. At her promotion ceremony, I didn't have to look up to people on the TV screen or in comic books or anything like that.
Oh yeah.
I had my mom and dad there. So I didn't necessarily need to do any of that.
That's great.
Yeah, it's definitely a blessing. Definitely. So as I was explaining to Kenia, Mom, this season on Brother Empowerment, we are not doing topics. We are doing quotes, and we are just going to be going wherever the conversation or thoughts about those quotes take us.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I think so.
All right. So here's the first one. First one says, "People look at you strange, saying you changed, like you worked this hard to just stay the same."
I mean, doesn't everybody change? Like if we stayed the same, there would be no growth. There would be no development. I would be bored. Right? Now, I think when people think that you've changed, they may think that either ethically, morally, or certain things may have changed. That's different. I think that the core of who you are typically stays the same, but you may like different things as you get older, or you get more experienced, or you start to deviate and do different things. I think that's a diversification of your lifestyle that's actually beneficial and enhances our lives. I see people thinking that you just haven't changed with you. And sometimes we outgrow people, and that's okay. And I think that statement comes more from probably hurt feelings.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. I think I agree, Kenya. I think that if you don't change, then something is probably not going well. I don't think we're meant to stay the same. I think the challenge that we have is really having the courage to say something doesn't work for me anymore because I've gone in a different direction. I think that life is about change, and hopefully you are changing, you're changing for the better. And, change is in a bunch of different dimensions, right? We change personally, we change professionally, we change as siblings, we change as wives, as mothers, as kids. We're constantly like growing and absorbing what's in our environment. And, the change is how we choose to process that and incorporate it. And that doesn't always sit well with everybody. And so you got to find your tribe. That's what I did.
Yeah.
I found my tribe.
Yeah.
And, I like to stay grounded, and, I've never not, I've never let my career keep me from home, keep me from my friends, and the people that I grew up and loved. Like I said in my ceremony, that poured into me. People that are there, that are for you. If there's something that they don't like, they usually will tell you. And the choice is up to you, whether it's something that you think you can change or should change or want to change. But I agree, Kenya. Usually people that say things like that is because it comes from a place usually of insecurity and envy.
Yeah.
At the top of that, that's what comes to my mind when somebody says, "Well, you've changed." Okay, well, let's talk about how it changed and why that concerns you.
Yeah.
Right.
Jessica in the building. Hey, Jessica.
Hey.
And she is to give hearts. I'm sure she's giving hearts to both of you ladies' statements. Yeah, and I agree with all of the above, what you ladies were saying. I think that when people, in this instance, when people say that you've changed, it has a negative connotation, and I guess some people look at you changing as you switching up, quote unquote, as they like to say. And I think that I spoke on this a couple of episodes back, probably about 2 weeks ago, where in reference to another quote, and I was saying that people have this snapshot of you at a certain point in time in your life, and when you guys either separate for some point in time or you do grow and elevate, they tend to something in them becomes irritated by that, and the fact that that snapshot it's not a mirror of who you are now or the new you, as you want to say. And I was saying that snapshot is advantageous to who you were at that time. In that snapshot, it was advantageous to people at that time. It was either advantageous for them, materially, or it was for them. But the fact that you are no longer that person, you've grown, and you're maybe a little different, it irritates them because that is no longer advantageous, beneficial to them.
Yeah.
That is the irritant. That is why, saying that you changed, you switched up, I think that's one of the main reasons. Like my mom was saying, it's insecurity and it's envy, because I mean, if we're really just going to be frank about it, really, you're not the same person you were yesterday.
Right.
If things are progressing, you're the same person you were yesterday. I'm definitely not the same person that I was, 5 days ago, 5 months ago, 5 years ago, especially 5 years ago. So, when people say that you changed, and especially if you've been working to, you've been working to process things that have happened to you, and you've been really just walking in your purpose, I think this is something that people will definitely say to you, because especially if they're not doing those things, it like I said, it irritates their spirit for whatever reason. Insecurity could be envy because they're not strong enough to do that. It could be a bunch of things. But yeah,
but I think you can flip that too, because I'll say that there are definitely people that I wouldn't deal with at one time or another, and we meet up later, and there's a change that's been made, and I find that I can be in the orbit of that person,
Right.
because there's been a change. So it's not always a negative. We tend to think of it that way, but sometimes people change for the better. And somebody that you didn't think that you would be able to deal with, you're now able to deal with. And I have to deal with that a lot in my field, because I'm responsible for a lot of people sometimes. And we can't throw away people in the military. So you got to serve your contract. So it is a place where you definitely learn to hone your soft skills and mentor and encourage people to professionally develop. And it is a place sometimes where you can be overwhelmed. And so those people that you can lean on and tap them on the shoulder and vent with, though that's important for you as well. So
I do think, though, when you look at change that happens in a core group, like a family or a relationship, a lot of times it's hard to accept the change because either you love someone or you really invested yourself in a relationship with them, and then the person has changed. And sometimes that change inevitably changes the relationship, and that's hard for the other person to accept, rightfully so, because especially if the transformation was not communicated. Right. So, you're on a transformation and you're blossoming and you're developing, and you realize, wait a minute, something is not equal any longer. And so when that change now really surfaces and the differences are evident, it can be really hard to be able to digest that and see if we can even still be in that same core group anymore. And that's hard. So I think, I look at that part of it in this statement. I think, like I said before, I think that's that hurt and that misunderstanding, that confusion. And that might be, a perspective with this quote.
Yeah.
But I think too that it's why I think communication and talking and trying to get to a place where you can be really honest and say say what needs to be said in your relationships. Because I think philosophically you could say, well, are we meant to be together with the same person forever? Do we go into relationships expecting a person to be the same way forever? Because
Before we go further, hold on to that thought. Got some comments. Jessica said, some folks benefit from unhealed/underdeveloped versions of you and won't encourage a version of yourself that sets healthy boundaries. That's a more eloquent way of saying what I was trying to say before. More eloquent way. Yes, Jessica. Yes. She said, super grateful for my core who always push me towards my higher self. Yes. She said, that's so true, especially in familial relationships. I think she was talking about Kenia's. She was, everyone's big sis in the building. Hey, Tara. So, sorry. Okay, Mom, go ahead and finish your statement.
No, I was just saying that, a lot of times when we get into relationships and, marriage and partners and things like that, we talk about growth and growing together. But what does that really mean? And do we expect the person that we're with fundamentally to stay who they were when we married them? And if they don't stay that way, what does that mean? So I think you can pull the thread on this quote and go in a few directions in terms of conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think, I hope most people don't expect their significant other or even a best friend, right, to stay the same in a relationship the whole time. I think what you don't expect is that the change will cause the demise of the relationship. And so I think that's, it's really important to check in. And a lot of times we don't check in as much as we should because life gets in the
Right.
way.
Right.
Therapy, inner reflection, that spiritual growth, and then being able to communicate. Well, identify first and then communicate the change, right? Because I think I can speak from experience. I never identified the progression of the change. And then one day you wake up and you're like, wait a minute. Right. So then to the other person or to other people, it just looks like, well, she just flipped a switch and I don't know what
Right.
happened.
Right.
Right.
When that's not it at all, right? I mean, when you're going through something daily, you don't necessarily see the change. But when you're away from it and you come back is when you see the change. So when you're in it, you don't necessarily see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Jessica said, come on here with this timely word. There's no way me or my husband should be the same 20-something-year-olds. We are in our 50s, definitely improved and constantly changing together, different times, but ultimately together. Yeah. So, and I think in any relationship, whether it be platonic or romantic, there definitely should be growth, progression, elevation. And, again, when those things happen, sometimes it's not well received by people that you're in any variation of relationship with, which is unfortunate. But also the silver lining in that, or I guess the wisdom in that is people who are not meant to be, around you or be for you you guys will eventually part ways. There's no real timetable on that. I think all of us can think back on some people that we've known for years and years, and at some point in time, you part ways as friends, or if it's a romantic relationship, you've been with someone for years or whatnot, and at some point in time, there's just the road goes this way. Of changes, and some good, and then some bad, or I won't say bad, some not complimentary. So I'll say
because we have the people that we love, and then we have the people that we like, and sometimes those aren't. You can love a person and not like them.
Right.
Yeah. So
we often talk about the phrase. Jay and I always often talk about the phrase. Love them from afar, love them with a long-handled spoon. And it's just like, we have drilled down into that statement so many times. It's like, don't make it a euphemism. Just say, love you. Don't want to be around you though. Don't like, your energy. Just can't deal with you, but love you.
Yeah.
So, well.
We say, get your mind right. When you be around people like that, you got to get your mind right, because you know what you're gonna get into. You're like, let me get my mind right.
That was a great first one. You guys ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, you sure? Ma, you sure?
I'm sure.
Discontent is the first necessity of progress. Thomas Edison.
I'll let you go first, Mom. I'm gonna call you Mom.
Discontent is the first necessity of progress.
While you're thinking on this, we got Tommy in the building. What's going on, Tom? Man, he said can't deal with you, but I love you. Felt that one? Yeah, bro. That's real life.
I think you can use discontent for progress. So I guess fundamentally I do agree with that. because I think when we're uncomfortable, is when we do experience growth.
Yeah.
And you can't sit in comfort and grow, right? If you're content and comfortable and just loving where you are, you either decide that you're content to just be there, or you're not and you want more, or to do something different or whatever. So I guess fundamentally I do agree with that statement. But there's another side of it that I could say, what kind of progress? Because you can go up or down. Yeah. So it depends on how you view progress, because discontent can send people in a different way. And it's not always a positive upward way. It's like coming from, an environment where, there was lots of struggles or neglect or abuse or whatever. And you either repeat that cycle, or you learn and you grow and you move away from that cycle. You decide that you're going to break the cycle. So that's what comes to mind when I think about that statement.
Okay. Jessica Brown said, Tom said he's here for Miss Jackie's wisdom. Aren't we all? Jessica said definitely comes down to choices. What I do.
Exactly. I like that, Jessica. Yeah.
She said, I totally agree. Comfort is a beautiful place, but nothing grows in it. And Jessica says, absolutely. My version of progression can look like regression to someone else. Kenia,
yeah.
So, the educator in me went and looked up the definition of progress. So let's read some definitions, because I had some thoughts, but then you said that and I said, okay. So definition of progress overall, out of the three that I've found, forward or onward movement towards a destination. Right. So I think the key there is, you're right. Progress could be negative. I think it's automatically seen as a positive word, but the destination part is what could make it negative or positive, right? Because if I'm progressing towards something that's a negative effect or outcome in my life, then that progress was for nothing in a sense. But if my destination and my goal is something that would enhance, then that progress is going to be positive. So to comment on the quote, discontent is the first necessity of progress, I think is true. Stagnation, most people are not happy with that when we're just sitting around doing nothing. If you look at the cycle of success and the cycle of failure, it's exactly the same, right? The difference is, in the cycle of failure, we don't find an alternative. Right, to find the path to success. So I think that cycle of success, failure stops and turns into success when we become discontent with our results. So yeah, I mean, I agree with what you're saying, and I love the fact that you put that progress could take us in a different direction. And again, I think that destination, that goal, that desire is what makes the difference. Yeah.
Facebook user said, peeps. I don't know who that is. Actually, it's actually Jay. Bro. So I saw a couple things. For one, I agree with everything. Again, I agree with everything that both you ladies said. So I saw something on a friend of mine's Facebook page the other day. It says, you cannot be committed to your dream and your comfort zone. Yeah, so that really stuck with me. And another thing I'll say is that definitely what both you ladies were saying about progress is people sometimes look at progress as always positive, but you can progress towards something negative or destructive. And it might not even be regression. You can literally progress in a new direction to something that's not for you, or that's negative or destructive, or any of those things. So that's definitely true. And I think, to unpack this quote, discontent, meaning you're not happy with how something is, or you're just not happy, period. Because we look at, there's another quote that comes to mind within this one, as far as the word necessity says, necessity is the mother of all invention. And inventing things is looked at as, in a lot of times, as progression. When new things get invented, new processes get invented. And so I thought about, my mind went so many different directions looking at this, but bringing it, drilling down a little bit and going back to, more complete thought, I've thought about this as when you're not happy about something and you're looking to improve it or change it, that to me is what it says. You're not happy with something. That can be anything. And as far as that being the first notch or necessity of progress, that definitely makes sense to me. Nah, Jay, bro, you're still a Facebook user, man. That's immediately what spoke out to me was when you're not happy with something, you look for a way to improve it or to change it. And that is when it comes to progression, that's not always a good thing, because how many times have we can, in our professions, somebody wants to change something, but it's not always a good change. Or it's not always, they come up with a process, but the process makes things worse, more convoluted. So I definitely think this is neutral in the fact that it can be positive or negative. But I do think that it definitely rings true. When you're not happy with something, I think that's one of the first things that lead us down the path of progression towards whatever we're progressing to.
I think it's important to realize as well that even when we don't make a deliberate decision to progress or to change the situation, we're still progressing, because either the situation deteriorates and things unravel and happen on its own organically, or our disposition, our discontentment causes things to change as well.
I agree.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think this one right here is one of those ones that it's very few words, but it's a lot packed inside of it. Discontent. We also talk about, and it says the first necessity. So meaning just the beginning. It doesn't even talk about the other innards of that, and you talk about progress, which is also can be neutral, because you can progress towards, like you were saying, you can progress towards anything. So yeah, okay. No, I like that one a lot. It's one of my favorites. There's a couple that we've covered that's like, oh man, they're totally they make you think.
Yeah.
Y'all ready for the next one?
Yes.
Okay. In the vein of progress again, so progress is a nice word, but change is its motivator, and change has its enemies. Robert Kennedy.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's tied closely to the quote we just talked about. Because I think also you could be discontent and know that you need to do something different, but if you're not motivated yet to move it, you'll sit in that for a while. You have to be motivated to do something different. And Kenya talked about that. And change does have enemies, but change is inevitable, whether we accept it or not.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I think this is actually a perfect combination of the two quotes that we just, change is going to bring about feelings and disruptions and emotions and opinions. No one necessarily likes change, but everything changes. Every season changes. So it's inevitable. It's not something that we can prevent. And I think, as funny as that is, that's the way we've always known it, that things change. Human nature, we just don't like change. And that's an oxymoron. Like, I know, we like to feel comfort. We like to feel stability, and change doesn't provide that. It shakes things up. But it is a motivator when you see things change, especially for the positive, and you see growth, and you feel good, and people receive you differently. You receive others differently. it can be a very positive experience, but again, can also be a very negative experience if all of those things I just listed are the opposite. So, yeah.
Tara said, "Hey, Tara." She said, "Change shifts the routine of expectancy."
I like that.
Yeah.
And Tara said, "Too many get impressed by progress, even an ounce, totally forgetting the goal has not been achieved, often distracted by those enemies." Yeah, I definitely think that change and progress, I believe, go hand in hand, and I think that we can look no further than the social and political climate of this country and see that change has enemies. Whether you want to look in the political arena or whether you want to look in just the social arena, like how many times have I'll give a generational example. How many times have people I'll call them our more mature elders or elder folk said this generation this and it's well, I remember when this was that and this is crazy now and this and that. And I mean, and things have changed, and social change I think has a lot of detractors or enemies just because social change oftentimes is just very radical and sometimes very just polarizing. So definitely, and then as far as in the political scheme of things, as far as logistically, when it comes to introducing new legislation or stuff like that, oftentimes there's so much division when it comes to things. There's so much heated discourse, over people, desiring or even really just talking about change. But yeah, I definitely think that wanting things to change, again, it's a neutral thing. Changing for the better or for worse is very subjective too. So wanting things to just change, period, definitely has enemies because some people don't want to see things change because not only would that's not beneficial to them or the people surrounding them, but also some people just are comfortable with the way things are. Just period. When you change that and it has the possibility of changing the comfort level, they're not happy about that.
It's disruption.
Right. Even a shift, a small one even, can cause just this big uproar.
Well, yeah, I definitely think that that change is a disruptor. It could be a disruptor for good. It could be a disruptor for bad. In terms of the social, I think what underlines what you were speaking about earlier in terms of our environment and the things that are going on in our country and across the world is at the heart of that is culture, right? Changing culture. So when we talk about the nostalgia that our mature folks have about the good old days and the good old music and the good old this and the good old that. It's it's a feeling that they it's a feeling that they get when they think back about those types of things, right? And it is about comfort. It's about culture, a type of culture that brings comfort, where they perceive that things were better, safer, or understood. And so when those things are challenged, it's about all the things that we've been talking about. When those things are challenged, they get uncomfortable. Because it's not a place of comfort for them anymore. It's not a place, people are always uncomfortable when they're in unknown territory. And a lot of the challenges that are going on today, socially, culturally, whatever arena you choose to put it in, that's what's happening. And so dialogue and educating yourself and staying abreast and watching who you surround yourself with. Those are key. Those are key. But I've changed my stance on many times on many things. I can remember conversations we had, Cordell, when you were coming up, and just about a whole bunch of things. And I remember saying, well, that just won't be acceptable in this house. I remember having conversations like that about you, and the things that we talk about now. Again, if you're a person, that communicates and talks, and I think it's hard to discount people who aren't like you when they're in your circle. And so bringing people who are different than you into your circle is key, because you can't have, I would say, it makes it more difficult to hate and do horrible things to people who are in your orbit, a part of your family, chosen or otherwise, that you love.
Yeah.
And you can stay detached and do things like that when you really don't have that frame of reference. And that frame of reference comes from being having those people in your circle. So having diverse groups of people in your orbit is key to us changing a lot of the things that we need to see change.
No, definitely. Tara said, I can hear Jay speaking on this being about folks getting in their own way, being their own enemy, protecting their comfort. And that definitely is true. I personally didn't even get into the personal aspect of this. There's definitely people out there who will fiercely protect their comfort, whatever form that they, whatever that comfort takes place. I mean, we know people who stay in damaging situations because they've gotten accustomed to being in those situations. They will protect those situations, those dynamics. They will protect them fiercely because they've grown accustomed to the comfort of being, in that situation, being attached to, the things that are present in situations. So yeah, definitely. I mean, I think you can look at this from pretty much, and you can look at this from a logistical standpoint, a personal standpoint, like when I said, a cultural standpoint, because culture is very important to some people. There's quite a few folks who are very comfortable with their culture, and that can be the culture, their social culture, that could be anything, because culture is attached to a lot of things,
Yep.
So,
yep.
Yeah, no, I like that one. I like that one a lot. I think we got time for one more. Ladies ready?
Yeah.
One more again. So, wood already touched by fire is not hard to set alight.
Ooh.
What do you guys have?
Interesting one.
All right, Kenya, I went first last time.
All right. Wood already touched by fire is not hard to set alight. What comes to mind first is, if I've been through it already, I can get through the next thing. Like, that's what comes to mind to me. I don't know if that's the purpose of this proverb, but it seems as though the wood's already prepared. It's already ready. It's prime, right? If you watch a fire burning, the more pieces of wood that get set aflame or alight, the easier it catches on to the rest of the pile. The longer it burns, right, the stronger it is. The embers are brighter, they're hotter. Like there's more strength there. That's what I don't know if that's the meaning of this proverb, but I'm sure with most proverbs, it's always what resonates with you first and most. And that's what comes to mind for me.
Yeah. Tara said, already ready. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. Perfectly said. Yeah.
But I also, I don't know. I read it. Wood already touched by fire is not hard to set alight, and I understand what you just said, Kenya and Tara. But I don't know. It just feels like something is missing, or I don't know. I read that as you know, if I've already been tried and tested, you can't fool me again.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So when I read that, I was like, yeah, but I'm not sure if if the clear meaning comes across when I read the proverb. I guess that's what I'm trying to say, because I can read that a couple of different ways. I can definitely see it that way, and definitely if the fire is already lit, then it's easier to keep throwing. It's easier to spread. I definitely get that. But fool me once,
Can I read?
but not twice.
Or do you want to go first, Cordell? Let's get yours.
So yeah, my thinking was pretty much in line with what Tara had said, and at least initially, and the already ready part. If something is already, so say the wood is already touched by fire, it's not hard to set it alight. So meaning that something, the change, the progression has already been started or ignited, so that it the further I guess the progression of whatever you're trying to do, or the progression of the fire, it's not going to be, you have to start from scratch. Like, there has already been a precedent set. And you can look at that as, I mean, as far as people, if people are already ready for change or progression, and they have already started a process, it's not hard to, or may not be hard to get them to look at something else. They may have a goal in mind, but if you've got something else, they're like, okay, yeah, we can look at that too. Something has already started. Something is already, like, the foundation has already been set. I guess I look at it that way.
So I think, yeah. So as you said that, Cordell, it did make me start to think maybe I'm being too literal when I read the proverb, versus thinking about somebody who is whose passion has been ignited, and so now they're ready to jump in, both feet. So because they got a taste of something and now they're ready, kind of thing. So yeah, so I think maybe I was maybe being a little too literal when I was reading that. I don't know.
Do you want me to share?
Yes.
I think it's interesting. So the implication is that with the right preparatory working conditions, a difficult task can become much easier.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
it's prime.
It's like putting kindling. Yeah, it's like putting kindling underneath, and it helps to get the wood, the bigger pieces of wood that you set on top going.
Right.
Yeah.
Marinating steak.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I'm hungry, so. It means a lot. If one has been burnt or controlled, they can be controlled or brought to anger again. I was repeating, clapping on the already ready. She said these are good quotes. Thank you, Tara. I think we did today, or at least two of them, 2 to 3, I think, are the ones that I actually put out there. So thank you. I'll take that. But yeah, no, I think Yeah, definitely. And when we do these proverbs from different areas, like we do African proverbs, we do proverbs from all kinds of different areas. I think these are really, really awesome because they promote so much thought. The other ones do too, but I feel like a lot of these proverbs are meant to be open-ended on purpose.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Be open-ended. And it just promotes, just a lot more discussion. We have other quotes that do too, but these right here always just, and especially we have multiple guests, there's guaranteed to be at least 2 to 3 different, avenues, and so, yeah, but no, this was great. So definitely. And we have also made it to that time where it's Positive Brother shout out. So this is where, if you ladies not familiar, which I'm sure you are going to reiterate again. So Positive Brother shout outs, where we shout out brothers that are, that you think are influential, especially brothers who don't often get their shine, whether they be in the community or otherwise. You don't have to necessarily know them. If you do, that's great. But yeah, this is that time where we just, shout out positive brothers and what, and what they're doing. So I won't even pick on you, Kenia. I'll make my mom go first.
Thank you. Thank you.
So Cordell, when you said that, you immediately came to mind. So shout out to you and Jay. But I recently had a conversation with my daughter-in-law, and I told her, we were talking via text, and I told her to share with me that my brother had helped her out. One of my brothers. Yes, I'm an only girl surrounded by 4 brothers, one of which has transitioned. But and I told her that I have great brothers. So shout out to my brother Jasper, my brother Marcus, and my brother Antoine, because I do have great brothers, and I have great. I've been fortunate enough to have great male friends in my life, from my military career, from my hometown. Just always been blessed to be surrounded around, with good people in my life, girlfriends as well as male friends, and I'm incredibly thankful for that. And I definitely think that helps inform me when I'm dealing with my sailors, my junior officers. That is key to me, and staying in touch with you guys and talking with you guys, and when I go home, and just staying tapped in really helps me when I'm doing my mentoring and my professional development with my folks. So,
before you go, Kenya, Rashad said, "My uncles in love are the best." And what's up, Chad? Man, Chad said, "Positive thoughts equal positive results."
Absolutely.
Manifestation for sure.
Mm-hmm.
In a short summation. But all right, Kenya, positive shot.
So also who came to mind for me was my brother. I don't have as many as you. I just have one. But he was in a late teen diagnosis of autism, and coming from a Haitian family, they don't know what to do with that. Mm-hmm. And so, now I'm almost 40 and he's 36, 37, and we're working through what that looks like. And he's just been, I've just seen growth, and I've seen strength, and I've seen desire to know who he is and embrace that, whatever that looks like. And so I'm just proud of him for being on the journey. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Definitely shout out to your brother. Oh man, I guess it's my turn now. Well, I definitely want to first and foremost shout out Jay. He definitely is like I was telling Kenya before we started, Mom. Jay is actually practicing for a musical. And I definitely want to shout him out because Jay's a very talented brother, and he definitely makes an impact on people with his many talents and his gifts. And also, he's inspiration for me because he is someone who is unapologetically walking in their purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who has kind of shied away from that, over the years. I definitely am inspired by that. The good, the bad, the ugly, everything that comes with it. He is committed to that path. So I just want to shout out Jay because that's an inspiration to me. I also want to shout out brothers. I do want to shout out my brothers. I actually have 2 of them by blood and also a bonus brother. I just met them a couple of years ago. And I grew up with them, but I just met them a couple of years ago, and they all are, just blazing their own paths in life. One of them has a family. One of them is in the Navy. Another one is a mortgage loan officer. So they're all younger than me. I am the old head of the crew. Of all my siblings, actually, I'm literally the oldest out of everybody. But they're blazing their path in life. And I want to shout them out just because when we first met, it could have went any kind of way because, like I said, we didn't grow up together. So, but they embraced me like we'd always been each other's lives. And we don't talk all the time. Whenever we do talk, it's just like we never left or we never fell off or anything like that. So whenever I go out there, 2 out of the 3 live in Florida, and then one of my brothers is in the one that's in the Navy is in Portsmouth, Virginia, at the Naval Hospital. And so, whenever I would go out there to Florida to see them or hang out and whatnot, it's always a good time. It's always, we just talk. So I definitely want to shout them out, and I also want to shout out brothers who are really just committed to being brothers. Not looking for any kind of recognition, any kind of like plaques or kudos. They really just want to help other brothers. I'm blessed to have those types of brothers in my life. And I believe that if we grow that network and get more brothers who just want to be brothers to other brothers, we can affect so much change. Not just here locally, but really, worldwide if we're talking about on a grand scale. I think the brothers who are genuine and who are really committed to helping other brothers be better and really show them love. I don't think that those brothers get recognized enough. And those brothers it's too many to name, but there are so many of them, and I really want to give them their flowers every chance I get because I don't think they're recognized enough. I think it's really something that goes under the radar just because people are so used to the competition, the aggressiveness that comes with men interacting with each other. So definitely want to do that. But I definitely thank you ladies for being on because you saved me today. I want to say that.
I know you were stressed, but why can't mom get it together?
No, I
said that to her. I was already in my zone. I said, "Oh, I need to get up." Because I set my little alarm and it went off. I said, "Okay, let me get up. I need to do it." About that time, here come Cordell calling me. Mom, did you get the email? Yes, baby, I got it. I'm gonna be there. I'm coming.
I had faith in you, so I knew you were gonna be here because you said you're gonna be on. But
yes. Kenia, I love the spelling of your name.
Oh, thanks.
When I first looked at it, I didn't think Kenya.
Yeah. Naya, Kenia, all the things. Yeah, thank my aunt for that. Funny story. I actually didn't have a name for a couple of days because my parents couldn't agree, and so she came up with Kenia.
I'm glad.
I love it.
That's beautiful.
It's a very unique spelling, and it's
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I definitely, like I said, it was a bit of a circus, and like I said, you ladies came and saved me, so I am forever grateful because I did not want to do this on my own. It would have been very boring. I was up here doing this on my own the whole time, so I definitely am thankful. And for everyone watching, if you do not know anyone who says that they love you and they mean it, you just met 3 people who do. And definitely tune into Word Crumbs. It is a great show. Kenia's whole presentation, everything is amazing. As you can see by her whole background stuff now is everything. So, yeah, you guys please stay on. But for everyone else, we'll see you guys next week where I have some different guests. And who knows, maybe in a couple weeks or sooner, you may see Captain Williams and Kenia back again. But anyways, love you guys. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.
A brother is someone that you can trust. A brother can sometimes be just a warming embrace, someone that you can depend on, and someone that has loyalty and that you show loyalty to.